Imagine this. You're at a friend's house party, the kind where the music's loud enough to feel in your chest. The dim lights cast a warm glow, and the room's packed with people laughing and talking over each other. You spot her across the room, a woman with a laugh that cuts through the noise, her eyes catching the light as she talks to someone else. You muster up the courage, walk over, and start chatting her up, cracking jokes, asking questions, trying to show her you're the fun, confident guy she'd want to be with. You're giving it your all, being the nice, charming man you've always been told to be, hoping she'll light up, maybe lean in closer, give you that look that says she's into you. But as the conversation goes on, her smile fades to a polite nod. Her eyes start wandering back to the crowd, and she excuses herself to grab another drink, leaving you standing there, feeling like you just missed something. You did everything right, played it safe, kept her laughing, showed her you're a good guy. So why did she walk away? Why does it feel like the harder you try to be what she wants, the less she wants you? Why does the guy in the corner, the one who barely says a word, who doesn't seem to care, keep catching her eye instead? This is the gut punch that hits you. You've been taught that being irresistible to women means being the guy who's always nice, always available, always trying to win her over with your charm, your attention, your willingness to bend over backward. Everyone, friends, movies, even dating advice, tells you to be the one who listens, who compliments, who makes her feel special, to prove you're the kind of man she'd want. But what if that's the exact thing that's making you invisible? What if women aren't drawn to the guy who tries the hardest, but to the guy who doesn't need to try at all, who's so sure of himself, so unbothered by her approval, that he pulls her in without even lifting a finger? What if being irresistible isn't about doing more, but about being more? More real, more grounded, more unshakable in your own skin. You've been there, right? The sinking feeling of putting in all that effort, planning the perfect date, saying all the right things, keeping the conversation going, only to watch her drift away, her interest fading like it was never there. The way you've tried to be the guy she'd like, maybe toning down your opinions, laughing at her jokes even when they're not funny, or jumping to fix her every problem, thinking that's what'll make her want you, only to feel her pull back, leaving you wondering what you did wrong. The way you've chased her approval, thinking it'd make you the man she can't resist, only to end up feeling like you're not enough, like you're just another guy she can easily forget. Why does this keep happening? Why does being the good guy so often leave you on the sidelines, while the guy who doesn't seem to care, who doesn't bend, becomes the one she can't stop thinking about? Arthur Schopenhauer, the philosopher who dug deep into the raw forces of human nature, saw this struggle through the lens of the will, the primal drive that shapes our desires, often beyond our control. He knew that attraction isn't about playing the part of the perfect man. It's about embodying a deeper, more instinctual power that speaks to her core, something that can't be faked with charm or effort. In a world where men are stuck chasing surface-level approval, Schopenhauer's wisdom offers a different path, a way to become irresistible by tapping into your raw, unfiltered self, by becoming a man who doesn't need her to feel whole, who draws her in through his sheer presence. But why are we so stuck on this idea of winning her over with effort, of losing ourselves in the chase at the cost of our own strength? What's really driving us to play this losing game? And what's it costing us in the end? Let's dig deeper into the hidden forces at play and uncover why you've been struggling to be the man she can't resist, and how to change that for good. You felt the sting of her walking away at that house party, the sinking realization that all your effort, your jokes, your charm, your desperate need to be the guy she'd want, left you standing there, overlooked, while the guy who didn't even try caught her eye instead. You've been told that being irresistible to women means putting in the work, showing up as the nice guy who's always ready to please, always trying to win her over with how much you care. But the hidden problem isn't that you're not trying hard enough. It's that you're trying in all the wrong ways, chasing her approval instead of tapping into the raw, primal power that actually draws her in. Let's dig into why you're stuck in this cycle of over-effort and what Schopenhauer knew about the deeper forces keeping you from being the man she can't resist. Your brain's wired to seek approval, but that's where the trap starts. You're built to want connection. It's human nature. When you go all out to impress her, cracking jokes, being the nice guy, or jumping to make her happy, your brain gets a hit of dopamine. That feel-good rush that says you're on the right track, that she'll like you if you keep it up. But here's the catch. That same wiring makes you scared of screwing up, so your fight or flight kicks in, pushing you to overthink every move. You start second-guessing. Did she like that joke? Why's she looking away? Should I say something else? That fear of rejection spikes your stress, flooding your system with cortisol, which makes you come off as nervous, needy, even if you don't mean to. Science backs this up. Studies show that over-trying in social situations can lower your confidence, making you less attractive because you're too focused on her reaction instead of your own strength. Why does trying harder make you feel weaker? Because your brain's chasing her approval, not your own truth, leaving you stuck in a loop of effort that pushes her away. Philosophically, this mess ties back to Schopenhauer's idea of the will, the raw, primal force that drives all of us, often without us even knowing it. He said our desires aren't always rational. They're deep, instinctual, tied to survival, to power, to connection. For women, Schopenhauer thought this will often pulls them toward men who embody a kind of unshakable strength, a quiet confidence that doesn't need validation, because that signals safety, stability, something primal they can't ignore. But when you're out there trying to be the perfect guy, always agreeable, always chasing her smile, you're not showing that streak. You're showing weakness, a need for her to like you, which kills the instinctual pull Schopenhauer talked about. Nietzsche would add to this, saying that modern men have lost their edge, becoming herd animals who live for others' approval instead of their own power. You've been taught to be the guy who fits in, who plays nice, but that's not what her deeper instincts are looking for. Society's got you twisted up even more. Everywhere you look, movies, social media, even your boys, they're telling you to be the guy who does more, who's always there, who wins her over by being the best version of what she says she wants. Think about it. Every rom-com shows the guy chasing the girl, fixing her problems, proving he's the one with grand gestures. Dating apps push you to keep messaging, keep impressing, keep proving you're worth her time. But this whole setup's a lie. It's training you to chase her validation instead of building your own strength. Aldous Huxley warned about this in Brave New World, saying society keeps us distracted with shallow goals, so we never face the deeper truth. You see it in real life. The guy who's always texting first, always planning, always bending over backward, thinking that's what'll make her stay, only to get ghosted for the guy who doesn't even try that hard. Carl Jung would say you're stuck because you're ignoring your shadow, the raw, unfiltered part of you that's been buried under all this nice guy stuff. That shadow's where your real power lives, the part of you that doesn't need her to feel whole. But you're scared to face it because it means letting go of what you've been taught. So what happens when you keep chasing her approval, keep playing the nice guy, keep ignoring the deeper instincts Schopenhauer knew drive attraction? What happens when you don't tap into the strength that could make you irresistible? The cost is bigger than you think, and it's already hitting you harder than you realize. Let's uncover what you're losing and why you can't keep going like this. You've felt the sting of being brushed off at that house party, the gut punch of putting in all that effort, cracking jokes, being the nice guy, trying to win her over, only to watch her walk away, her attention drifting to the guy who didn't even seem to care. You've seen how your brain, society, and even deep philosophical ideas have pushed you to chase her approval, focusing on being the charming, agreeable man you thought she'd want, instead of tapping into the raw power that actually pulls her in. But the unseen consequences of this chase are hitting you harder than you think, messing with your relationships, your confidence, and your whole sense of who you are, keeping you further from being the man she can't resist. Let's lay bare what this is really costing you and why you can't keep playing this game. First, let's talk about your relationships. When you keep chasing her approval, always trying to be the funny guy, the nice guy, the one who's there for her every need, you think you're showing her you're worth her time, that you're the kind of man she'd want to be with. But you're not building anything real. You're just putting on a show, and deep down she can feel it. She might smile, maybe even stick around for a bit, but over time, your neediness makes you forgettable. Someone she doesn't have to work to understand. Someone who doesn't spark that deeper pull Schopenhauer talked about. You felt it, right? The way she starts pulling back the more you try. The way her texts get shorter. The way she stops looking at you like you're someone she can't figure out. Social psychology calls this the scarcity principle. When you're too available, too eager, she loses interest because there's no challenge, no mystery. You end up stuck in shallow connections, wondering why you can't get her to feel that spark, why you're always the friend, never the guy she can't stop thinking about. It gets worse. It's eating at your confidence, too. Every time you chase her approval, every time you bend over backward to be what you think she wants, you're telling yourself you're not enough as you are. You start doubting yourself, second-guessing every move, wondering why you're not getting the reaction you want. That self-doubt builds up, and before you know it, you're caught in a loop of insecurity. Studies show this kind of rejection hits hard. Your brain releases cortisol, the stress hormone, which messes with your ability to think straight, makes you feel smaller, less sure of yourself. You've been there, haven't you? That feeling of walking away from her, replaying every word in your head, beating yourself up for not being enough, even though you tried so hard. It's not just her walking away. It's you losing a piece of yourself every time, feeling like you've got to keep changing to be wanted, when really, you're just burying the man you could be. Zoom out, and this shapes the whole world around you. When you keep chasing approval, always playing the nice guy, you're feeding into a dating culture where women are drawn to the guys who don't play that game. Guys who show that raw, primal strength Schopenhauer pointed to, the kind that doesn't need validation. You're stuck competing with a million other guys doing the same thing, all trying to be the perfect man, while the guy who doesn't care, who's just himself, stands out without even trying. It's a cycle. Guys like you keep chasing, keep getting overlooked, while women keep looking for something deeper, something real. There's even a term for this in psychology, the halo effect, where people are drawn to those who seem confident, self-assured, not the ones trying too hard to impress. Your neediness doesn't just hurt you. It keeps you stuck in a world where real connection slips through your fingers. This is bigger than you think. Every moment you spend chasing her approval, trying to be the guy you think she wants, is a moment you're not becoming the man who naturally pulls her in. The man who's irresistible because he's real, not because he's trying. You feel it, don't you? That quiet ache of knowing you could be more? The fear that you're stuck in this loop of effort and rejection, losing more than just her interest. If you keep going like this, what's next? Your confidence, your relationships, your whole sense of self? There's a way out. A rebellion against this trap. A path to become the man Schopenhauer knew could draw her in without even trying. Let's take that step and find out how to break free for good. You felt the weight of being overlooked at that house party. The bitter truth of pouring your heart into being the nice guy. Cracking jokes, keeping her smiling, trying to win her over, only to watch her slip away, drawn to the guy who didn't even try. You've seen how chasing her approval has cost you your confidence, your relationships, and your sense of self, leaving you stuck in a loop where the harder you try, the less she cares. But here's the rebellion Schopenhauer's wisdom pushes you to take on. Stop trying to win her over and start being the man she can't ignore. The guy who's truly irresistible isn't the one who bends over backward to please her. He's the one who stands firm in his own strength, who doesn't need her approval to feel whole, who pulls her in with his raw, unfiltered presence. This shift is your way out, a path to become the man she can't resist, not by chasing her, but by owning who you are. First, stop caring so much about what she thinks of you. You've been caught up in trying to be the guy she'd like, always saying the right thing, always being the nice guy, always worried about messing up. But Schopenhauer knew that women's deepest instincts are drawn to a man who doesn't need their validation, a man who's grounded in his own will, that primal force that radiates strength. Next time you're talking to her, at a bar, a coffee shop, wherever, don't let your mind spiral into overthinking. Don't worry if she's smiling enough or if she's into you. Just be there, in the moment, saying what's real to you, not what you think she wants to hear. If she's quiet, don't rush to fill the silence with more charm. Let it sit. Let her feel your calm. Psychologically, this detachment lowers your stress, keeping your cortisol levels down, which makes you come off as more confident, more grounded. Try this today. Next time you're with her, pause for a few seconds before you respond to her and feel how your stillness changes the vibe. She'll start leaning in, drawn to your quiet strength. Next, own your rough edges instead of hiding them. You've been playing it safe, toning down your opinions, trying to be the guy who doesn't rock the boat because you're scared she won't like the real you. But Schopenhauer saw that the will in us, our raw, unfiltered drive, is what makes us magnetic, not some polished version of ourselves. Stop pretending to agree with everything she says. If you've got a strong opinion, say it, even if it's different from hers. If you're into something she might not get, like working on cars, gaming, or some nerdy hobby, don't hide it. Share it with pride. At a party, don't be afraid to walk away from a boring conversation to grab a drink or talk to someone else. Show her you've got your own life, your own vibe. This kind of authenticity hits her on a primal level, speaking to the instincts Schopenhauer talked about, the ones that crave a man who's real, not a people pleaser. Start now. Next time you're with her, say one thing you really feel, even if it's a bit bold, and watch how she reacts to the real you. Finally, build your own world and let her come to you. You've been making her the center of your universe, always texting first, always planning dates, always trying to keep her interested. But Schopenhauer knew that real power comes from self-sufficiency, from having a life so solid that she wants to be part of it. Focus on what makes you feel alive, your work, your hobbies, your crew. If you're into fitness, hit the gym hard and let her see you're a man who takes care of himself. If you've got a passion project, pour your energy into it and talk about it with fire in your eyes. Historically, guys like Henry David Thoreau, who lived on their own terms out in nature, drew people in because they had their own world. They didn't need anyone to complete them. You can do the same, showing you're a man with a life worth joining, not a guy begging for her attention. Do this today. Pick one thing you love doing and spend an hour on it, feeling the strength of having your own world. She'll notice the difference. This rebellion goes against everything you've been taught. Society will tell you to keep chasing, keep being the nice guy, keep trying to win her over. But every time you let go of her approval, own your edges, and build your own world, you get stronger. You'll feel it. Her eyes linger, her interest grows, and you start becoming the man she can't ignore. Schopenhauer's rules aren't about playing games. They're about being the man who naturally pulls her in, just by being you. As we head to the final truth, you'll see how this rebellion isn't just a way to break free. It's a way to become the man she can't resist. You ready to step into that strength? You've rebelled against the trap of chasing her approval at that house party, embracing your raw strength, owning your edges, and building your own world. Shifting the dynamic so her eyes linger, her interest sparks, and your presence becomes something she can't ignore. You stop trying to be the nice guy she'd like, choosing instead to be the man you are, real, grounded, unbothered by her validation, drawing her in without even trying. But here's the ultimate truth Schopenhauer's philosophy reveals. You don't become irresistible by winning her. You become irresistible by winning yourself. The man who truly captivates a woman isn't the one who chases her desire. He's the one who embodies his own, becoming so rooted in his primal will, so complete in his own strength, that his very existence pulls her in like gravity, not because he tried, but because he is. This truth flips everything you thought you knew, turning your chase into confidence, your doubt into power, and your life into a force she can't resist. Schopenhauer saw the will as the core of human nature, a raw, primal drive that shapes our deepest desires, often without us even realizing it. For women, he believed this will draws them to men who radiate a kind of unshakable strength, a self-assurance that doesn't bend to anyone's approval, because it signals something primal, safety, power, a man who can stand on his own. You've been chasing her approval, trying to be the guy you thought she'd want, but the ultimate truth flips that on its head. Her deepest desire isn't for the man who tries to please her. It's for the man who doesn't need to, the one who's so solid in his own will that she feels it without words. When you stop caring about her validation, when you own your rough edges, when you build your own world, you're not just attracting her, you're speaking to her instincts. The part of her that Schopenhauer knew craves a man who's whole, not a man who's begging to be chosen. You become irresistible, not by winning her, but by winning yourself. Philosophically, this truth echoes Nietzsche's idea of the Übermensch, the man who creates his own values, who lives for his own strength, not for the approval of the herd. The frustration of her walking away, the exhaustion of trying to be enough, the insecurity of not getting her attention, it all comes from tying your worth to her desire, from thinking you need her to feel like a man. But when you root yourself in your own will, when you become the man who doesn't need her to feel whole, you break free. Carl Jung would add that this is about facing your shadow, the raw, unfiltered parts of you you've been hiding to be nice, and integrating them into who you are. You don't need her to want you. You become the kind of man she can't help but want, because you've become the kind of man you respect, a man who's real, not a man who's performing. Psychologically, this shift is a game changer. Chasing her approval keeps your brain in a stress loop, spiking cortisol, making you feel smaller with every rejection. But when you focus on your own strength, when you live for yourself, you break that cycle. Your brain calms down, your confidence grows, and you start showing up as a man who's grounded, not a man who's grasping. Studies show that self-assured men, guys who don't need external validation, trigger attraction on a deeper level because they signal emotional stability, something women's instincts are wired to seek. You'll notice it. Conversations flow easier, her eyes linger longer, and you start building connections that feel real, not because you chased her, but because you became a man worth chasing. This changes everything about how you show up. You're not the guy you were, the one who overtried, who doubted himself, who lived for her smile. You're a man who knows his worth, who commands attention just by being, who pulls her in without even trying. Think of guys like Clint Eastwood, whose quiet, rugged confidence made women fall without him ever begging for their attention. You can do the same, making every moment a reflection of your strength, every silence a chance to show your depth. Picture this. You're back at that house party, but now she's the one walking over to you, her eyes locked on the man who doesn't need her to shine, because you already do. This is Schopenhauer's ultimate truth. Irresistibility comes from within, and when you live it, she'll feel it. Not because you chased her, but because you became the man she can't resist. Step into that strength, own it, and let it change everything. You've walked through the sting of being overlooked at that house party, felt the heavy cost of chasing her approval, and uncovered how it's been holding you back from the deep, primal connection you crave. You've learned Schopenhauer's ultimate truth. Irresistibility isn't about winning her. It's about winning yourself, rooting into your own strength, your own raw will, so you become a man she can't help but be drawn to. Not because you tried, but because you are. You're not the guy you were, the one who overtried, who doubted himself, who lived for her smile. You're a man who stands firm, who owns his edges, who's built his own world, radiating a power she feels without you saying a word. Start today. Take one small step to own your strength. Next time you're with her, say what you really think, even if it's a bit bold, and feel the shift. Her eyes will linger, her interest will spark, and you'll see what it's like to be the man she can't ignore. Keep this up in every moment, and watch how your presence changes everything. She'll be drawn to you, not because you chased her, but because you became a man worth chasing. How does it feel to stand in your own power, to be the guy she can't resist just by being you? Drop a comment below. What's one bold thing you'll say or do next time you see her, and how to change the vibe? Your story might just fire up another guy to break free from the chase. If this hit home for you, smash that like button. It lets us know you want more content like this. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss our next dive into raw, real attraction. Share this with a buddy who's been stuck trying too hard, feeling like he's not enough. He might need this to step into his own strength. The world's gonna keep telling you to chase, to bend, to be the nice guy. But now you know the truth. You don't need her to be whole. You're the strength, the fire, the man who pulls her in just by being real. Live that truth, own it, and build a life where she's chasing you. Not because you tried, but because you're the man she can't resist. You're not just another guy. You're the one she can't forget. And that changes everything.